Hello, everybody. My name is Daljit Baines. I'm the head of admissions and business development, and welcome to applying to the Langley College Colleges Group. Thank you for joining us today, and I hope you are all registered and logged in. We'll take a few seconds to obviously catch up. If there's any delays or any problems, do let us know. My colleagues Fiona and Claire are on the web chat, and they'll be monitoring any of your communication. So if you have any questions regarding how to apply or general admissions, or any questions relating to the college, in fact, to be honest with you, please do put them on the web chat, and they will basically pass it on to me, and I'll try to answer them at the end of the presentation. So welcome, and thank you for taking the time to actually join us today. Today is going to be obviously a virtual open day, and it's going to be a couple of my colleagues joining us. So if you haven't already joined or registered for their sessions, which are going to happen after this one, please do so. It's going to be super exciting. They're going to give you loads of information about their curriculum areas, and that'll be really important, and I think it'll be really beneficial to you. So let's begin. I think you should be able to see me in the corner, but at the same time, you should be able to see the presentation. And I'm going to just double check my colleagues after case. Is that correct? Brilliant. Thank you very much for confirming. So today it's about applying to Langley College. I'll try to give you as much information as I can. I know how important it is at this moment. It's obviously going through strange times at the moment with all the lockdown and social distancing, but we are here to help and support you. That is the most important thing, and the most important thing you should take away from this today. We know how difficult it can be, and we're trying to give you as much information as we can. And I will try to keep obviously a steady pace and give you a chance to think about what I'm saying and try to give as much information as I can possibly can in this actual webinar. Like I said, please do put down your questions in the live chat and I'll pick them up later. So let's see if this works. My slide hasn't moved, so let me just see if I can make that work. There you go. So the webinar for today is about applying to Langley College. So Langley College is one of the larger largest campus actually as part of the Windsor Forest Colleges Group. We underwent some development about 5 or 6 years ago. We spent over 30 million on the premises on the site itself. And that's really an investment in the building, in the equipment and the materials, and also the facilities really for education and training. So we have obviously loads of facilities. The other webinars that will be happening later, that my colleagues will give you more information, but just a general overview. As you can see from the slide, we've got some specialist equipment in motor vehicle, construction. We've got a fabulous salon, which is based on the ground floor. So it has its own access, and it's basically a hair and beauty salon where the general public can actually come in and actually get treatments done as well. We also have a restaurant called The Zest, which is also open to the public, and it's actually facilitated and manned by our students and professional staff. We also have a sports facility at the back of the building. That's an actual working gym. It's run by Absolute Fitness. But the most important thing about that is that our students have access to it, as well as obviously an opportunity to facilitate football. We can do gym as well. We do dance as well. There's a whole range of facilities available. We do indoor football as well. We do badminton and so forth. We have a fabulous learning centre and a resource area in the main floor, on the ground floor, as you walk through the building. And actually the picture that you see in the slide is actually that area, and it's actually called the Learning Centre. In there we have information which we can give to our students regarding transport, financial assistance. There's also our team in learning support who are there to support our students in the classroom, as well as they are in the college, and using the facilities there could be for things like they need assistance with classroom assistance, or whether they need to get access to things like a laptop. So we have all the resources in one central place that can be accessed by all students. And the Learning Centre also has obviously a library. It also has desktops for people to come in and log in and use the computers, so you can do some group work, as well as obviously do some independent work. And that's very important. We're very passionate about making sure that students work in the classroom, but at the same time, they obviously have to continue to do some work independently. And I'll come to that later, because I'll be showing you an example of a timetable where you can see where independent learning can take place. If you do have any questions regarding the resources and the facilities and the kind of support we can offer you with things like travel, things about equipment, anything related to that, please do make sure you put it on the web chat and I'll pick it up later if that's okay. I'm just going to move on to the next slide for you. So this is our main missions and values. It's important for you to realise the college, I mean, I've been here nearly 12 years now, and I've been the head of admissions for that period of time. And it's very important for you to realise the college is very much about the community. We're very passionate about your learning. We want to make sure we're here to support you, in particular in relation to what's happening right now. We want to give you the information. We want to make sure you have all the information you need to make an informed decision. So in the heart of the college, it's always about thinking about how we can support our community. So whether you are 16 to 18 and you're thinking about what your steps are going to go forward, so you might be at year 11, thinking about what you're going to do after school and how you're going to apply and go forward there. We're going to give you as much information about that, help you with those steps. You could be somebody who's 7 to 18, who's maybe trying to find employment. You might be looking for your next progression in a course, or developing further in a new skill set. Maybe you try to think about doing another course, another area, and we're trying to make sure we help you with that as well. Or you could be an adult who's looking to do a leisure course or a part-time course. And the most important thing is that we have those facilities and we have those kind of courses available for you. And the most important thing here is we'll try to give you that range of different courses to meet your needs. We're also mindful of the fact that you might be an employer looking to get some more staff in, so people like apprentices, and we will be there to support you with that as well. So it's important for you to make sure that you take an opportunity to look around our website to get as much information as you can. And obviously in there is the contents of all the courses that we offer and all the resources that are available. As I mentioned to you before, we do have a range of different courses available. They come from all types. We've got access courses, and I'll explain that in more detail. Let me just start by explaining what Langley College is really fundamentally about. Langley College is really a vocational vocational campus. It means vocational means it's more about courses that are practical, hands-on. So the kind of things that we can do here are things like construction, motor vehicle, public services. These things are very much hands-on, and also IT. We also have facilities for things like childcare, business as well. And as I mentioned to you, we've got a working hairdressing and beauty salon as well. Our restaurant is something that's open to the public, and we obviously give our students the opportunity to learn some basic skills like food hygiene, and also able to do front of the house, which is quite important as well. As I mentioned to you before, we also do things for employers. So if somebody's interested in doing things like apprenticeships, that's an opportunity for you to actually do your course while you're actually employed. So if you're not sure about what apprenticeship is and how that's different to maybe a full-time course or a part-time course, maybe this is a good time for me to explain. So apprenticeship is an opportunity where you get employment with an employer doing a relevant job. So for instance, if you think you're working in hairdressing, you work for a salon, and you basically get training with us. We are the training provider. So rather than doing your course full-time or part-time in the evening, you come one day a week, and the company allows you to attend the college so that you can actually do the course. And your opportunity is really for you to get employment, get practical experience while you're doing the working, absolutely, and then get a qualification as well. So there's a kind of a combination of things. You are actually working, getting paid, and actually getting the qualification at the same time. So if you are interested in apprenticeships, please do let us know, and we'll try to give you some more information. In fact, there is a section in the website which gives you a little bit more detail about the types of apprenticeships we offer. from the top of my head, I think there's around about 19 variety of apprenticeships that are on offer at the moment. I also wanted to point out the access courses to higher education. This is quite important really for our adults. I think if you are a person who's 18 or above, somebody who's maybe thinking going back into education because you are looking for a change of career or possibly to improve your skill set. I mean, everybody wants to improve their skill set. I mean, it's been noted for some time that people don't have a job for life anymore. So people do come back and actually re-educate themselves. And I've seen that myself, I experienced that myself. I've seen, obviously, mature adults come back looking to improve their skill set. And access courses is a good way of doing that. We have access courses in social work, access to nursing, and access to teaching, I believe, as well. So there's an opportunity for you to do an intensive level 3 course, which is for 1 year, and it gives you a chance to then have a step up to higher education. So whether you want to go into university and do it there, or actually continue with a higher education course at the college, and I'll give you some more details about those later on as well. I'm just going to move on to the next slide. This is basically the explanation of the study program at the college. As I mentioned to you before, Langley College is very much about vocational courses. Just bear with me 1 second. There you go. Okay, so vocational courses. And what I meant by vocational courses means they're very practical, very hands-on. For those who are thinking whether that means you don't need to do exams, unfortunately, there is exams involved. What happens is that you'll find that the majority, maybe around 70%, will be actually coursework and the rest will be exams. But it's very much hands-on practical courses. And this study program really shows you the type of things that will be covered. So in a vocational qualification, you may need to do maths and English if you're 16 to 18. That means basically if you do not hold a 4 or above, and in old money that's a C grade in GCSE, you will be asked to do English and maths as part of your course. There's also something called course studies that every student has to do as part of their program. And we also actually encourage you to have development in experience for work placement, employment skills. So if you're doing a vocational course, doesn't matter whether it's a level 2 or level 3, there is a certain expectation that you will have to do these things as part of your program. And I'll show you how that looks like in the actual timetable that I've got as a second, later on in another slide for you. I want to just explain about employability skills. When you're doing a course, especially a vocational course, such as maybe hairdressing or construction or electrical, the most important thing you're doing is learn the skills, fundamental skills you need that an employer would like to get from you. So when you qualify, you've got your qualification and you are job ready. And that's what vocational courses are all about. So it's very important that we try to instill some of those employability skills. And how we do that, we can do that part of core studies. But the main way of doing that really is giving you an opportunity to do things like work placement, an opportunity to go and actually practice some of the skill set you've learned. So embedded into the vocational courses are work placements. It's predominantly for level 3s, but we do that for level 2s as well. Okay, and it's particularly important things like childcare and health and social care courses as well. Okay, so if you've got questions regarding any of this, please, like I said, put it on the web chat. And my colleagues Fiona and Claire will pass it on to me and I'll try and answer those questions at the end. Oops, my screen is stopped again, so bear with me 1 second. Right, so in order to get onto a course and before you even think about applying, there's a couple of things that you need to do beforehand. And I always say this to everybody who's interested in applying. You need to do some research, really. Make sure you understand the type of course that you might be interested in. And as I mentioned, we've got a variety of things on offer at Langley College. So please do look at that, go through the website. And that's a great tool to actually research on. But you also need to know another area, which is basically the qualifications and the entry requirements. And what I mean by that is what do you need to have in order to get on the course? If I focus on talking about full-time programs, You might be interested in part-time courses, and you might be an adult thinking about, well, this is not relevant to me, but it is relevant. So let me just cover it from a full-time point of view, and I can obviously separate it if you've got questions for regarding part-time courses or leisure. But if you're thinking about a full-time program, then there is something called the entry requirements. And what that is simply in this PowerPoint, we have broken it down to kind of things that you need to be kind of having or predicted to have in order to get onto the course. Now, I'm very proud to say that at the college, we do have different levels in courses. So that means that if you're interested in, for instance, construction or motor vehicle, and all the other courses, in fact, that I mentioned, which are all vocational courses, including business and computing, we do have courses starting from a level 1 to level 2 and level 3. So level 1 foundation courses, as seen on the slide there, you will need to have GCSE grades of 2 or below. And in old money, that's like an E grade. And that's something like a BTEC introduction level 1. So when you look at the website, or if you're looking for our prospectus as well, sorry, should have mentioned the prospectus, you will see it's quite clearly indicated on the subject what level it is, okay? So a level 1 course tends to be a year-long course, and the kind of grades you need to be having is like a 2 or below. And that's a really starting point. That's a starting point for people. And obviously, if your grades are better, you should be looking at the next level higher than that, and which is level 2, which is what we call an intermediate course. And for those, you will need grades between 4 and 2. And in old money, that's equivalent to C and E. And you'll see the type of course. The description might be BTEC first diploma. And this is where you start getting into apprenticeships as well. So a level 2 apprenticeship is an intermediate apprenticeship. The entry requirements are very similar, and so therefore it's important for you to keep an eye on that as well. This is a very general kind of diagram or a table to tell you about the entry requirements. Some subject areas will require you to have particular subject grades. For instance, you may require maths and English if you're thinking of doing maybe a engineering or electronic course, but that information is on the website and it's also in the prospectus as well. So please do look at that in more detail, and that will give you an idea what the entry requirements are there. So that's a level 2 course. The next level up is a level 3, and it's called advanced course. And the kind of qualifications you're doing there are things like obviously A levels. We don't do A levels at Langley. Please, if you're interested in that, please look at our campuses at Windsor and Strode, and there's a whole range of courses available there which are A levels, and we do something called mix and match as well. But at Langley, we do offer things like BTEC extended, MVQs, and once again, something called advanced apprenticeship as well. On advanced apprenticeships, it's quite rare to go straight to a level 3. Its reason being is most apprenticeships require you to have basic skill set, and that's why you usually come in at an intermediate apprenticeship or a level 2. And that's not unusual for some of our mainstream courses as well. It's mostly to do with health and safety than anything else. So for instance, if you are thinking of doing something like hair and beauty, a hairdressing course, there's a good chance that if you have no prior experience, they might have to start at level 1 or level 2 just for safety reasons before you go on to level 3. Just because you have the entry requirements doesn't mean you go straight onto that subject area. So that's quite important to know. And the same goes with things like I'm thinking of working in maybe the hospitality courses. You need to have obviously food hygiene, health and safety awareness of how to use knives in the kitchen, and making sure that you're kind of aware of those things. And that's usually covered in level 2. Things like also, I think electrical courses are the same as well, because of the fact you're working with things like electricity, and you have to be mindful, and safety does come in, and it's the most important thing before you jump to a level 3. But if you are able to meet the entry requirements, what you need for level 3 is as follows: 5 GCSEs grade 9 to 4. So in the new terminology, 4 is what is a C grade in old money, and obviously 9 is equivalent to an A star. So if you are predicted, or do you currently have qualifications between 5 GCSE and perspectives? The one thing I would keep an eye out for is also, it mentions here in the entry requirements that if you have prior qualifications in the area, so if you've got a level 2 before, and maybe you've taken that somewhere else at another college, or maybe you got it at the school that you come from, or you may have done it a few years back. If you got that prior qualification, do let us know. This information is quite important. So the reason why I'm telling you about the entry requirements and qualifications is that it's important you give us this information when you're making an application. So do your research, make sure you know what course you're interested in, what level you want to apply for, and then obviously then you are pretty ready to go forward with your application. And obviously if you have qualifications already, then you need to obviously let us know what those results are and what pass grades or what grades you've got for those. If you are in a situation where you are year 11 at the moment and you are obviously thinking the fact that you are currently only got predicted grades, we totally understand. We are aware that the government's obviously working very hard with all the exam bodies and the schools to arrange ways for you to get your qualification. The most important thing at the moment I can advise you to do is use your mock or your predicted grades when you make an application. Okay, there is your best indicator that we have and you have at the moment on what you will get for your GCSEs or your BTEC that you're doing in year 11 at the moment. Yes, there's a possibility it will improve, and you might be working and discussing that with the schools. I understand that. So, but at this moment, we do need some sort of benchmark of an indication where you are. If things do improve, obviously we'll get that information from you closer to enrollment time, which is around August and September, when the results do come out and the actual results come out. And obviously, and we'll take that on board. And if we can improve the level of your course, so for instance, maybe you are floating with your predicted grades around a level 2 course between 4 and 2 on your GCSEs, but you actually get better results, we'll be in a position to kind of push you up, move you up to a level 3 if it's possible. Okay. And at this point, I want to stop and just let everybody know that we are committed to our applicants and we are committed to our community. We have made contact with all the schools in the area, and we made it very clear that we are offering a guaranteed place to applicants, and we want to support you. So it's about, you know, the subject you're interested in and the level we can try to put you on. But don't worry if your application or your grades don't meet it. We can obviously go up, we can also go down. We can just find the right balance for you, and then we can progress with your application. That is the most important thing. And if you've got questions about that and you're concerned about the predicted grades, please put in the web chat and I'll happily pass it on and I'll try to answer those questions for you. Okay. I'll move on to the next bit now, if that's okay. Oops, I jumped that too fast, I think. Right, so as I mentioned to you earlier, sorry, I keep on getting a pop-up, I need to get rid of that, one sec. I was going to show you an example of a timetable that constructs what a vocational program might look like. And this is the one, really a typical one that I picked up from. It's based on an electrical installation course. Obviously, you may not be interested in electrical installation, but it's just an example. And this is a timetable for a full-time study program at Langley College. And what I'm trying to show you here is the type of things you might have to cover as part of that program. So it's not just simply doing the core subject, i.e. it's not about just doing business or doing public services or sports, motor vehicle. It's about all the other elements. So in this slide, you can see the different type of things that construct a timetable. So in this example, on Mondays, the person is obviously doing their core subjects, which is in electrical installation. They've got different types of blocks, and those are kind of spread out throughout the day. But on Tuesday, it's been actually allocated for them to do work experience, and that is a dedicated time for them to do work experience. Now, it doesn't mean that everybody's in Langley College is going to have the same dedicated time, or your timetable will look the same. It's always different, depending on what level you are, what subject you are, and whether you are doing it full-time, obviously, or if you're doing it part-time. But this is a full-time example. On Wednesdays, this person goes back and continues with their mainstream course, which is electrical installation. But on Thursdays, you'll notice, and the arrows are indicating that for you, that this person has to do additional things. So the red indicates the fact this person hasn't actually achieved a grade 4 or above in their maths and English. So they've actually had to do extra sessions, extra classes for their maths and English, and that's built into their timetable, and that's what we call mandatory. So all these elements are mandatory parts of the program. You must attend, obviously, your mainstream course, you must attend your work experience, but you must also attend your maths and English as well. Now, if you are able to, and you have already got or will be getting a grade 4 and above for your GCSEs in maths and English, those will not apply to you, okay? And they will not be there. And that means that you'll have some additional time to really do some independent learning. And as I said right at the beginning, I talked about the fact that the Learning Centre has wonderful resources where you can go and work and do group work. You can use facilities for the computer. You can actually rent out or hire out a Surface Pro, which is basically like a laptop, and you can do work independently. That's an opportunity for you to do that. Okay, so there's a possibility that if you were doing this particular program on that Thursday, you would fundamentally have quite a big chunk in the morning and a big chunk in the afternoon to go off and do some independent learning. Also, we're also mindful of the fact that at this time you might be turning 16 to 17, or you could be looking for around 17, 18. This is an opportunity for you to maybe look for a part-time job. You might be looking to get some practical experience above the work experience. So there's flexibility in that timetable. But the real key thing here, the most important thing for you to remember is this timetable is about you taking ownership for your program. It's about you attending your classes and making sure you stay on top of that. That's the most important thing there. Okay. I'm just going to move on to the next slide. I'm just conscious of time. Okay, so I've spoken about all the things that you need to do before you apply. So this is the exciting bit. How do you make an application? Okay, so if you've done your research, you've looked on the website, you've gone to the prospectus and gone through it, and you've gone for each page, and you've highlighted things and you crossed things out, and you made a narrow list, and you're really clear about what you want to do. Have you spoken to family and friends? You've got some advice, and you've got a clear idea of what you want to do. The next big stage is going onto our website and clicking through the website and looking under courses and selecting those courses that you're interested in. Now, the good news here is our application process is basically digital. So that means you need to create an account, but it does allow you to apply for multiple subjects. That means if you're interested, you're not sure yet, if you're interested between maybe doing a hairdressing course and health and social care, or construction and motor vehicle, you can actually apply for both courses with one application, with one account. That will save time for you. You can also, by the way, apply for Langley, Windsor, and possibly Strode if you really wanted to in one account as well. Okay, so that's important to note. So once you've selected your courses and the levels are appropriate and you check the entry requirements, you put them in something called the basket, and that basically is indicated on the slide there. You select and you add to basket. You can add, as I said before, maybe multiple subjects, or just stick to the one course that you're really interested in. Once you press add, it will allow you to check that you've applied for the correct course, make sure all the information is correct, and then you could press apply, and that will actually move you to a page, landing page, which allows you to put in your personal details. And I'll go through the steps of what will happen when you actually apply. So this is the landing page. This is basically where you will go to, where you have to create an account. You only create the account one time, so that's really good. And it's basically using an email address. So if you don't have one at the moment, I suggest you create one. A really good one will be something like Gmail, because that will stay with you. You can move around. If you're thinking of using your school one, for argument's sake, or if you're year 11, you may want to consider actually using a personal one. Reason being is it's only a few months left in school. If you don't want to use an account, that's actually going to be something belonging to the school where you were at before. So try to create one that's your own personal one. Okay, and that's very important. And then basically that becomes your username. Okay, so your username is your email address, and then you have to obviously create a password. Please, it's very important. Make sure you have a password that you can remember, okay? Because we do get requests sometimes to reset passwords. Try to remember the password. Try to make sure you maybe write it down somewhere, or maybe share it with a parent or carer so that they know that password. And once you created the password, That is your account, and that allows you then entry onto what is basically the application form. Now, the best advice I can give you for making the application is take your time. It's important that you have all the information around you so you can capture it on the application form. And what I mean by that is that we're looking for personal information. So your address, your date of birth, your nationality, your national insurance number if you're an adult. We need things like emergency contact details in case of obviously emergencies. And if you are 16 to 18, we need things like your parent details as well. So those kind of things need to be there. Also, it might be useful and a good idea to make sure you get all your qualifications and bring them and keep them next to you. So when you're actually adding that information in, you've got something to look at rather than kind of running around trying to find it. So prepare yourself for making an application, have all the details in front of you, and make sure you maybe write it down somewhere or put a note down. The good thing about the application, it does allow you to go and save it, and you can always go back to it later. As I mentioned to you before, it's quite important that you give us your qualifications or your predicted grades based on your mocks, because that's what we use to determine your application. And if that information is missing, it could hold up your application, and we don't want that. We really want to get you to the next stage, and which is basically trying to set you up an interview. So once you've submitted your application, you do get a correspondence to say that it's been submitted. You get an email response telling you that it's been submitted. And then the admissions team, the central admissions team, will be in contact with you within 7 days to arrange a telephone interview. So with the lockdown at the moment, obviously it's very difficult for us to arrange face-to-face, and we apologize for that. But as you can see with what's going on at the moment, it's very challenging, and with social distancing, we have to obviously take direction from the government. What we've done instead is obviously arranged telephone interviews, and what that allows you to do is actually we will contact you with a date and time for your interview. Now, Mondays is the dedicated and allocated day for Langley full-time interviews. They take place between 3 and 5, and you'll get an email asking you, would you like to have a telephone interview on this date, and can we contact you on this number? I forgot to mention that before. It's very important you give us a contact number that we can reach you on, because obviously we will call you on that number. If it's a mobile number, we'll call you on that number. If it's a landline number, we'll call you on that number as well. So please do make sure you include that in your application. The idea will be we will send you a communication asking you to, if it's okay for us to arrange that telephone interview, and we will ask you to confirm that. So you need to email back to say, yes, I'm happy to have the telephone interview on this day at this time, and the number that you've given us is correct. If you want to change your telephone number, maybe you've got a new mobile number, you can. That's an opportunity for us to tell us, and we'll update the details on your record as well. Okay. If there's any missing information, we'll contact you by email. So there's a lot of email communication, so do keep an eye out for it. And that's why it's so important you give us an email that you have full access to. Okay. Can I just also point out, parents and carers, if you are trying to help your son or daughter make an application, it's important the application is in their name and not in your name, because obviously we're creating an account, we're going through the process of making an application. This will lead to hopefully enrollment in the future, and we want to have the details of your son and daughter. Okay. You're very welcome to be in the interview process. I know it's not easy to do on the telephone, but you are very welcome to be partaking in that. But it's very important the information is about the applicant. Okay. Okay, thank you for that. And once we receive it, we'll arrange that telephone interview. And what will happen next is our colleagues from the curriculum, that's the staff who actually run the program in the subject area, will call you on that allocated date and time, and they will do a telephone interview with you. Let me just go on to the next slide. Oops, sorry, a bit too fast there. So as I mentioned, we get an acknowledgement for your application. That's done by email. Admissions will be in contact, central admissions will be in contact within 7 days to arrange a telephone interview. You'll get a date and time when that will take place. And then we'll obviously get a chance to do the telephone interview. So what will they ask you over the interview, and what will be kind of spoken about, and the things that you can prepare for? Well, the curriculum are very interested in why you're doing the course. So you've got to be able to tell us a bit more detail. So they'll ask you about what your aspirations are. So, you know, what's your interest? What makes you want to do this course? It might be related to a particular career. You know, maybe you want to become a chef, maybe you want to be a hairdresser, maybe you want to go and do a construction in the future, maybe you want to own your own business. Whatever the reason, it's important you actually share that information with our curriculum staff as well. They'll be asking about what your experiences are, whether you've done any work experience, what prior knowledge you have on the subject matter. That's quite important. So maybe you helped somebody in the summer breaks doing something. I'm trying to think of an example. Maybe done some volunteering. Maybe you just helped, you know, a family member, and you really got experience from it. So any work experience or any kind of experience you had in the subject area is also useful. If you have a desire to go into maybe university or higher education, do let them know about this, because obviously we're here to help you. We're trying to give you advice. We want to make sure that the course that you've applied for will reach your aspirations. That's one thing that's very important. The last thing we want to do is obviously waste your time. But secondly, we want to make sure that the course is actually going to get you where you want to get to. So if you have a desire to do a particular profession or go into a particular course in higher education, we work backwards from that. So, you know, that's like planning 5 years, maybe even 6 years in the future. Will this course be the right pathway to get you there? And that's quite important. So do let them know about that. Let them know about any predicted or actual qualifications. You may have put that in the application, but the curriculum may ask you about those things. Other things they may ask you about is obviously about any support you might need. So do you need any support in the classroom? I mentioned to you about the Learning Centre, where our colleagues from the Learning Support team are based. That's important information. So if you are, for instance, a year level student, and in the past at school you've had extra time for exams, this is a good point, and you should share that information with us, and we will pass that on to our learning support team. If you have any support needs in the sense of any disabilities or any learning difficulties, do let us know, and we'll always take that into consideration. Any medical needs as well, so that we can actually make sure that this course is not going to be something that's going to cause any problems, and we can support you while you're at the college as well. So those are the kind of things that I've discussed. An interview can take anywhere between 30 minutes, depending on obviously what's discussed and the kind of conversation you're having. You will know by the end of the interview whether you got an offer. So our curriculum will be very clear with you, and they'll say that you've got a verbal offer, and it's a conditional offer. So that means it's conditional on you meeting the entry requirements. And if you get that, congratulations and well done, because that is the key thing here. You want to get that offer. And what we will do then is we will be writing to you by email, confirming the offer, and it will be sent to you, and you'll have a chance to go onto your account that you set up with your username, which is your email and password, and you can go in there, and there'll be an opportunity for you to accept your offer. By accepting your place, you are securing your place at Langley College. Okay, it doesn't mean you are obligated to turn up and actually attend in the course. It just means you're securing your place. You are saying to everybody, this is my seat, reserve it for me, because I'm very keen on it. Okay, and I would always recommend, where possible, to obviously confirm and accept your place, and that tells us that how interested you are. You may have more than one offer with us. So you could have an offer at Langley, you could have an offer at Strode, or possibly at Windsor, or you could have an offer at Langley for 2 different courses. That's okay. We don't mind that, because at the moment you will think about your options, you'll do more research over the summer, and eventually you will decide which course you want to go for, and then you'll decide the final decision. And then when that happens, we'll know that that's the one that you're going to go for, and the other one we can release and give it to someone else. Okay, so it's very important that you accept your offer. If you have any problems logging back into your account, as I said before, you maybe forgotten your password, maybe, just contact the Central Admissions team. So Central Admission Teams is available, and the telephone number is 01753 793288. It is on the website, and there's an email address number as well. It will be in the communication that you receive, so you can always kind of email us back that way, or just pick up the phone and talk to us. And that's the main thing. We will contact you with more information about how to enroll for the summer, over the summer period for September. And obviously we're working very closely with the government at the moment about social distancing and making sure that we are going to make sure the college is a safe place for you to be when we obviously start in September. And I know obviously you might have some questions about that, and I'm more than happy to answer those as well. Okay, I think College life is an overview. How am I doing for time? I'm just going to quickly check with my colleague. Am I okay, Claire? 5 minutes? Good. Okay, good. Okay, so very quick. I've talked about everything about joining the college. I talked about how you can apply. I told you about things like researching and so forth. Just one important thing. College is an experience, and it should be a positive one. And it's an opportunity for you to develop and grow. So there's a whole range of things that you can do which are not related to your course. So we have a range of things, as I mentioned to you before. We have the college gym. You can join it as a member. We have a freshers fair. We have clubs and society. There's a chess club, for argument's sake. You can join that as well. And there's an opportunity to do other activities as well. The salon, the Zest area, the restaurant area is accessible to our students. You can go in and use the facilities. In fact, I know that our hairdressing area was welcoming for looking for models to help with them, and obviously get the practical training as well. So if you are brave enough and will be willing enough, which I think would be great because I've been there myself, please do offer and support other colleagues, other students in the college place. And it's an opportunity really to engage. We have outdoor table tennis facilities as well. So please, it's a real experience. It's a real opportunity to grow and develop. And that's what college is all about. It's really an opportunity to become, move on and progress in your own education, social development, social skills, and hopefully your future career. Okay, I'm just conscious of time. I'm sure there might be some questions. I'm looking forward to it because it feels like I'm just talking at everybody, and I hope that's not the case. I hope you do have questions for me. So I'm just going to open it up to my colleagues, and who will be able to tell me if I've got any questions.
Hi, Daljit. No, that was great. Thank you for that. We've had a few questions coming through, but we've managed to answer most of them ourselves. So if anybody has any more questions, please pop them through now. Otherwise, we will conclude the presentation.
Okay, how much time do I have left? Sorry.
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. Well, thank you. If you do have any questions, I've got 3 more minutes, so please do let me know. I think I've covered everything that's really the most important elements. I'm just going to double check if there's anything else I wanted to share with you. I think not. I think the most important thing, as I said to you, sorry, is that okay, Claire? Fiona, are we okay? Okay, so the most important thing I want to say, sorry, I'm just double checking with my colleagues that everything's all right. The most important thing I want to say is, this is maybe a bit rushed, and I apologize for that. It is the first time we're doing a webinar, but you can show you our commitment and real energy here. We are desperate and we are very keen to help and support you, okay? Because we understand how difficult it is to get resources and information at this time. So we are putting loads of information on our website. If you are a year 11 student, please do go there. There's loads of resources that we put there to give you information on how to prepare, okay? It's different ones for different areas. There's year 11 resources for Langley, year 11 resources for Strode, year 11 resources for Windsor. We are going to obviously do more webinars, hopefully, fingers crossed, and we'll give you an opportunity to get some more insight. If you are thinking of applying or have applied and you've not heard anything, please contact the Central Admissions team. We're here to help. We're here to support you. And as I said, the number is again 01753 793288, 793288, and it's admissions@windsor-forest.ac.uk. It's all on the website. We are constantly updating the website with more information as well, and new courses. My colleagues in the marketing department will be doing an adult course guide, which I believe is going to come out in a few months' time. It will give you information about adult courses. I apologize, I haven't spent much time on adults, but let me just talk about that very quickly. We have part-time courses for you. These are an opportunity for you to develop the core skills you need to progress in either in your current employment, or you maybe to change your employment. I'm mindful of the fact that at the moment, because of the difficulty we have with lockdown, there may be people looking and struggling for employment. This is a fantastic opportunity to reskill, redevelop. Things regarding fees, we have fee remission opportunities. That means we can give you advice on how to get courses supported by the government. So don't be scared to apply. Make the application. let us tell you about what we can do to support you. And there are so many things that we can do to support you. And obviously, we'll give you that information, and fingers crossed it will work for you. We do leisure courses as well. So if you just want to do it as a hobby and interest, we are obviously doing those courses as well. We've also developed some virtual courses as well, which are exciting, and we're kind of hopefully think we're going to develop and grow those as well. And what that means is that you don't need to actually come into the college itself. You'll be doing it virtually from home, and then you'll have an opportunity to get information remotely and teaching remotely as well. So all that stuff is going to be on our website. It gets updated regularly. Please do go there, and thank you for your time. If you haven't registered for the other sessions after me, please do so. My colleagues Kerry, Alison, Lawrence, Mark are all excited. They're all waiting. They're around the corner any minute now to talk to you as well, and they're going to go through some information. If you need to talk to me again, or you want to ask me further questions, you can get through to me by the Central Admissions number as well. I'm more than happy to answer any questions if you have any. Is that okay, Fiona? Anything else? Have you got any questions for me?
No, great. We've got one or two come through, but we're answering those directly. But otherwise, that's fantastic, Daljit. Thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us today.
Thank you. Take care. Bye-bye.